Hi everyone, in this video I would love to share a past life that I became aware of while I was meditating. And basically, in a nutshell, this past life had to do with dragons that temporarily existed on planet Earth. Okay, so while I was meditating in the bath, because I've been meditating a lot in the bath for some reason, because I feel like being submerged in water really helps me, helps my body and helps my mind and my spirit to really smoothly, I guess, come in alignment with each other so I can really, I guess, project my consciousness into other dimensions. But basically, how I became aware of this past life is I went into meditation and I saw this door. This door that had carved, a lot of carved things inside, and it definitely gave me the feeling of Chinese culture. I feel like this door wall thing is in Asia somewhere, and I feel like it's not hidden. I feel like it was designed by a civilization. I believe it's sort of a human. They look kind of like the Asians, but somehow they're like a hybrid of another sort of alien race. Alien race that has really sort of, I would say, paler skin. I feel like I see a lot of pale skin. Their pigment, their skin pigment is very different from like humans. I feel like they can't take sunlight, so I feel like they cover themselves up. Almost like I see like a long like white robes, and the robes is like kind of like a thick texture, like a cloth that's no cloth on like earth. And I do feel like it comes from sort of some sort of sheep, like because I feel like it's kind of woven from some sort of sheep that's similar to human sheep or lambs or something, but it's this sort of this different texture, but it looks very similar. Almost looks like exactly identical. But they mix it when they're, I guess, moving clothing. They mix it with another like element. It almost like looks like gold. Like they mix it with like strands of gold, like when they're, I guess, sewing, or like the little needle and like the spinning wheel. I feel like they use a spinning wheel, and I see like a fabric of like sheep skin, or not skin. I mean the fur, or the fur, and as well like a really thin gold. Like gold almost is, it looks like fabric and like woven together in this like spinning wheel to come up with this very, it's like a very protective but very light gold fabric that really protects them from skin. That's like skin, protects your skin from sunlight on Earth while they're on Earth. And I feel like they made this in this wall. Okay, and there's a dragon on it. Like in the center, there's a dragon. There's all these little texts. It kind of looks like Chinese, but it's somehow not. But I feel like this sort of written language actually influenced the Chinese language that is right now. So I feel like it really predates the establishment of the Chinese writing. But it had a big factor in creating the Chinese language. And I feel like they created this door, and it's interesting because it doesn't look like a door. It looks like a wall, but I know it's a door because inside there's like this. It looks kind of like a cave, but it's sort of like a dome cave, and it's not that big. I would say maybe it's like 10 feet tall, and I don't know how wide, like maybe like a wide, the width of maybe like a bedroom, like an average size bedroom, not something massive, like a average size bedroom. Except it's really got some tall walls, like 10 feet, and there's like this swirling sort of portal inside, like it's like really swirling. It almost like looks like a universe, and it's like plasma. Like you put your hand in it and like liquidly plasma. It's interesting. And I could see like almost like I could see solar systems inside. like solar systems that I don't think you could find from just looking up at the sky. It almost like looks like it's solar systems if you were like on a totally different planet and you're looking up at the sky. So, in order to get in there, I sat in front of this wall because you can't just walk through it or you can't just open the door because you have to. It was designed for only special people to get through. Special people who are, I would say, very enlightened, um, like beings who've reached, I don't know, some sort of state of enlightenment where they're ready. Because they were showing me that once you kind of tell, I guess, the swirling portal that you surrender to it and that you're ready to receive its wisdom, you literally find yourself everywhere at once. Like they were showing me, I was like literally looking at myself, like almost like I was like spirit or something. Like I was looking at my many past lives, even though the things I've done in this lifetime, and I was literally like looking at myself, almost like I was like the shadow of myself, or like a spirit watching myself, and I could literally see everything I was doing in this lifetime. Like I would go to different time, like different time periods that I was, in this lifetime, and I would like observe myself, and then I was also observing myself in other lifetimes, and then in other dimensions, and it was like, whoa! I feel like it was a little overwhelming because of the fact it was literally like time was just so different. I feel like time was kind of going all at once. It was like a big rush, like a big, what do you call, like a dam that's burst, and there's just this massive body of water just going like huge rush. It wasn't like this is the lifetime. It was like all these lifetime things, dimensions, versions of myself all streaming in together, and I was just kind of like hopping around, and it was like overwhelming because I could see myself, but it was like there was just so many of myself in like what you perceive past lives, future lives, other dimensions. It's very exciting. It was very exhilarating, but it was hard to really focus on one particular, I guess, version of myself because I had access to all of the versions of myself. So like I can't like I was just sort of just like all over the place, like seeing all of me. So I was meditating, and how I got to that point where I was like standing in front of the swirling universe plasma water thingy. Um, I was meditating right in front of it, like this, sitting Indian style, and I was literally with my mind. I had to kind of get to this, like I said, this state of consciousness, but it was really you had to like kind of like pass this test where you really had to believe that this was a door. Like you couldn't open it with your physical. You would open it with your mind. Okay, so I sat there and I guess I passed the test because I saw myself kind of standing outside of myself. I guess you consider this astral projecting. But I was sitting here, but at the same, like sitting in front of it, Indian style. But for some reason, I kind of projected my consciousness to form like a figure in front of me. While, my physical body is sitting here, but my like spirit form, light body is standing in front of me. And I kind of walked towards the door, and then I just kind of like almost like walked through it. So I feel like that was saying that that was sort of like a test where I have to get my consciousness through the door first. And then when I guess my consciousness was through the door, not my physical body, my physical body or like my essence had to like everything that was kind of left in the body, my consciousness went through the door. But there's a cord from my body to the consciousness that's already went through the door. Like it's like a steel door, like rock, like hard rock, and it's kind of it's on a mountain, like on a mountain, like it's like on a big mountain, so it's like some thick rock. And this cord between my consciousness and my physical body. Okay, so what happened is all this, I guess, the stuff left in my body, I had to, with my, I guess, my body mind, I had to envision myself unlocking the door. Okay, and then I kind of like imagined myself opening it. So I did this all kind of with I guess the portion of my consciousness that was still inside my body, while the majority of my consciousness was already through the door. But like I said, there's a cord, so there's still consciousness left in here, unless I probably would have died, because you can't project your entire consciousness outside of your body and still be alive. There has to be a portion of your consciousness in your body in order for your body to still be alive and and for you to be breathing, existing in the body. So that small portion of my consciousness that was, still my body, I managed to kind of unlock the door, open that door. So it kind of opened, and then I sort of opened my eyes, and the wall was still there. It's not like I opened it with like my mind. I did it like a visualization. But the real test was I had to stand up, my physical body, okay, but I'm still in this kind of like altered state of consciousness because I managed to project the majority of my consciousness beyond the door. So I'm in this kind of like loopy state. And what I had to do was literally walk through the door. I had to literally have like believe that I can walk through rock. Like my physical body could walk through like steel rock, like some hard rock. So I just literally slowly walked forward in this sort of, again, in this altered state of consciousness, walking forward, and then I kind of just continued walking. And I didn't put my hand out first to see if my hands could go in. I literally just like went in like head first. And what happened was my body, my actual physical body, went right through this rock, this thick rock. Okay, this thick, like almost like, and it was also kind of looked like I don't know, it shined, okay, like the carved symbols and images, like it shined, like it's almost like some sort of metal, but it was not. It was like rock, but it was like shine, like it was a different material, like not a steel, because I don't think you can carve steel, but a material that you can find like a natural mineral, kind of like sparkles a little bit, and I feel like it is found on Earth. I just don't know the name of it, but it's like a dark gray mineral, dark gray that kind of looks like like kind of looks very shiny. Like you can kind of shine it, where it doesn't necessarily look like it's a rock anymore, but more like a kind of like a steel or something like that. Like the color and sort of like the texture and the strength of it, but it's like a mineral. And a little shiny, like a little rock in its purest form that's not altered in any way. So I managed to get my physical body, and then my physical body and my consciousness that was already in the wall kind of, whoop, they came together. Like I kind of just like stepped into my consciousness that was sort of just there waiting for my physical body to come in. So we kind of merged together, and then I was, completely me, where my body and the majority of my consciousness that was on the wall kind of submerged together. So I returned back to my full, like, awakened, aware state. So then I was just standing there, physically standing there in front of this swirling universe. And it was very interesting because this was like and then I saw myself sort of in this wasn't me, it was like a past life me. And I feel like this was during when there was kings, because I feel like this was, like there was some sort of kings. Okay, what happened, I feel like I lived somehow in Scotland, but no. I don't know how I got there, really. I don't know how I got to this sort of door in the first place. All I know is this wasn't me. It was like a past life me that, like, discovered the door and went through the door. But I remember there was distinctly something telling me that once I go through that swirling sort of thing, it's like I kind of like leave my body and I become all things. And I was like, whoa, that's so it's really like for people who are ready. And I wasn't really necessarily ready for that. Because I had a family. I know I had a family, and I just feel like I had a family, and we were like Scottish or something, because I see all this nice green grass, and it's like flat land and some rolling land, and really reminded me of Scotland. And we like farmers. We had sheep, and then, like I said, it was during like kings and queens time, I feel. So I didn't fully like go inside, but I kind of sat there and I absorbed whatever information I could gather from just observing the sort of swirling universe. Because like having like being all things at once is very it's a very powerful and expansive thing, and it's hard to come from this sort of limited perspective, linear time, to just all things at once, all dimensions at once. It was like a big, gigantic quantum leap from like that to like all things. um, but for some reason, I think I don't know, this swirling universe thing. I feel like it was kind of like alive. It had its own sort of consciousness, the consciousness of that whoever built it, whoever designed it. It had a collective consciousness of those beings. Like I said, those Asian hybrid, white, pale-looking skin beings that really created the Asian culture and really. And then it's gonna get into the whole. They're the ones that had the dragons on their planet. But I'm going to make a part 2 for that portion of the video I'm going to discuss about the dragons, but overall how I kind of really this swirling universe thing was really what I just don't know if I went in or I kind of just stood there and like observed it. I don't know if I literally physically took my body inside of there. But for some reason I did, because that swirling universe that kind of had like a mind and was like talking to me. I do feel like it gave me the strength to walk inside and to kind of become all like powerful or something like that, just have access to all things. Because I feel like that wall slash door thing, it's really only for very few people, very, very few people. I would say, less than 5 people in the whole world could actually manage to get their physical body inside of it. Most can get their consciousness in it, but somehow they can't get their physical body to visualize the opening of the door and then stepping through the door. They can't really do that. But I could manage to do that because I had a very expansive imagination. That's what helped me to get through the door, because I believed I could get my physical body through rock because I had an imagination. Very, very big imagination, like a child. So, imagination can really get you to other dimensions. It can get you to do what people consider the impossible, make the impossible possible. So, basically, I'm going to share the experience of the dragon experience, my past life with that, in part 2. Okay, bye everyone.